Montana, a land of breathtaking vistas, rugged wilderness and wide open spaces. A place where the sky stretches forever and the mountains guard their secrets with a stoic silence. But beneath its untamed beauty lies a paradox. Why does this state remain one of the least populated in America? Oh, you think you're ready for Montana in 2025? Let me tell you, this place ain't your average postcard paradise. Montana will chew you up, spit you out, and then let a grizzly bear finish the job. But hey, it's gorgeous while it's doing it. Montana's history is as rugged as its landscape. Before it became a US territory in 1864, this land was sacred to the Blackfeet, Crow, and Northern Cheyenne tribes, who respected its wild beauty and called it home for generations. When settlers arrived, they were drawn by dreams of gold hidden in the mountains. But here's the kicker. The gold ran out fast, leaving many to wonder if Montana was more curse than treasure. Those who stayed had to be as tough as the land itself. Speaking of toughness, Montana's laws keep it interesting. It's illegal to herd fewer than 3 sheep on public streets. Why 3? Maybe the 4th is too sassy, but the law's the law. The state's rich history and connection to indigenous cultures offer a fascinating backdrop for anyone interested in exploring the past. But history doesn't make winters any warmer, or the wolves any less hungry. If you think you know cold, Montana is here to humble you. With winter temps dropping to minus 70 degrees Fahrenheit in the mountains, it's not just cold, it's life-threatening. And that's before the wind chill gets involved. Snow isn't just an inconvenience here, it's a lifestyle. For 6 months of the year, residents battle blizzards, ice storms, and the kind of frostbite that has you questioning your life choices. And don't even get me started on black ice. It's slicker than your cousin trying to borrow money at Thanksgiving. For winter sports enthusiasts, it's a paradise. Skiing, snowboarding, and snowmobiling are practically rites of passage. For everyone else, it's a relentless battle with Mother Nature, and she always wins. In Montana, the idea of personal space takes on a whole new meaning. With only 7 people per square mile, you might not see another soul for days. Sure, that kind of solitude sounds dreamy until you realize Amazon doesn't do 2-day delivery here. Heck, even finding a neighbor to borrow sugar from could take a 2-hour drive. Montana's isolation is both a blessing and a curse. In the town of Jordan, Montana, the nearest Walmart is a 3-hour drive away. If you forget toilet paper, well, good luck. It's perfect for introverts, writers, and anyone needing a break from the chaos of city life. The stargazing here, absolutely unmatched. Social butterflies beware, you'll need to get creative to meet people, or invest in some excellent internet for Zoom parties. Let's talk about healthcare in Montana, because if you're planning to live here, you'll need to know the risks. In rural areas, medical facilities are few and far between. For some residents, the nearest hospital can be hours away, and snowstorms can make those hours feel like days. Imagine breaking your leg while hiking. If you're lucky, a helicopter can airlift you out. If not, you better hope your buddy can carry you, and that they remembered to bring a GPS. Missoula and Billings offer excellent healthcare services, with some of the best hospitals in the region. But for rural residents, even basic medical care can be a logistical nightmare. In Montana, the animals are the real neighbors. Grizzly bears roam freely, mountain lions lurk near backyards, and deer think your garden is their personal buffet. In some parts of Montana, residents are required to use bear-proof trash cans. It's not just for convenience, it's survival. For wildlife enthusiasts, this is heaven. Where else can you wake up to a moose chilling in your driveway? But if you're not ready to carry bear spray on your morning jog, Montana might not be the state for you. Here's a plot twist. Montana isn't as empty as it used to be. As of 2025, the state's population has topped 1.1 million, thanks to remote workers, retirees, and fans of the TV show Yellowstone. While this growth brings new energy to towns like Bozeman and Missoula, it also comes with challenges. Infrastructure is struggling to keep up and housing prices are skyrocketing. The influx of new residents means more cultural diversity, better restaurants, and an expanding job market. But for locals, this boom feels like a double-edged sword, especially when their once affordable homes now cost as much as a mansion in the Midwest. Montana's housing market is experiencing a transformation that's as dramatic as its landscapes. Over the past 5 years, the median home price has soared by 85%, making this once affordable state a surprising contender for one of the least accessible housing markets in the nation. Small towns that once epitomized rural charm are seeing rapid development as demand outpaces supply. Construction crews are working overtime to build new homes, but the influx of wealthy transplants has driven prices sky high. For many locals, this boom feels more like a bust. Montana was once considered a hidden gem, a place where you could buy a home with stunning mountain views for less than the cost of a studio apartment in Los Angeles. But those days are fading fast. The rise of remote work, coupled with the allure of wide-open spaces during the pandemic, has made Montana a magnet for out-of-state buyers. Wealthy transplants from California, Texas, and New York are snapping up properties, turning small towns into boom towns overnight. In Bozeman, the median home price has surpassed $700,000, a staggering number for a town that was once known for its affordability. Meanwhile, Missoula's housing market has become so competitive that buyers are offering well above asking price, often in cash, just to secure a property. For Montana's longtime residents, the housing crisis has been devastating. Families who've lived here for generations are being priced out of their own towns. Rental prices are climbing just as fast as home prices, leaving little room for anyone without a six-figure income. Take Whitefish, a picturesque mountain town near Glacier National Park. What was once a haven for locals has become a playground for the ultra-wealthy, with luxury condos replacing affordable family homes. Locals now refer to the area as White Price, reflecting how unattainable it's become for the average Montanan. If you can afford it, Montana's real estate market offers some of the most stunning properties in the country. From sprawling ranches with panoramic views to modern mountain homes, it's a dream come true for those with deep pockets. But for everyone else, it feels like chasing gold all over again. Except this time, the stakes are even higher. Affordable housing is disappearing, and the charm of small-town Montana is being replaced by gated communities and luxury developments. The influx of new residents isn't just changing the real estate market, it's also reshaping Montana's culture. Longtime locals often feel that the state's quiet, rural way of life is being overshadowed by urban influences. Debates over zoning laws and new developments have become common at town meetings, with locals pushing back against what they see as overdevelopment. On the flip side, newcomers argue that they're bringing fresh energy and new opportunities to the state. In some towns, bumper stickers reading "Don't Californicate Montana" have become a popular, if blunt, way of expressing local frustration with the changes. The housing crisis isn't limited to buyers. Renters are also feeling the squeeze. College students in Bozeman and Missoula are living in RVs or camping during the school year because they can't find affordable housing. Families are cramming into smaller apartments, while others are being forced to leave the state altogether. In Helena, one property manager reported receiving over 50 rental applications within 24 hours of listing a two-bedroom apartment. The competition is fierce, and renters are often left with few options and even fewer protections. Despite the challenges, some communities are fighting back. Local governments and non-profits are stepping up with creative solutions to address the housing crisis. Affordable housing initiatives, land trusts, and tiny home developments are starting to make a difference, albeit slowly. In Missoula, a non-profit called Homeward is working to create more affordable housing for working families. And in Bozeman, the City Council is exploring zoning reforms to encourage the development of duplexes and other lower-cost options. Montana's housing crisis is a double-edged sword. On one hand, it's a sign of the state's growing popularity and undeniable beauty. On the other, it's a stark reminder of the challenges that come with rapid growth. As Montana continues to evolve, the question remains, how can the Big Sky country balance its newfound fame with the needs of its longtime residents? Montana isn't just about rugged mountains and endless skies. It's also full of quirks that keep life interesting. From its offbeat laws to its one-of-a-kind traditions, this state knows how to march to the beat of its own drum. Let's start with the infamous Testicle Festival. Yes, it's exactly what it sounds like. A celebration of Rocky Mountain oysters, also known as deep-fried bull testicles. Every year, brave locals and curious visitors gather to eat, drink, and see who has the courage to chow down on this Montana delicacy. Think of it as a rite of passage. Sure, you might cringe at the thought, but don't knock it till you try it. And if you're not into exotic snacks, the live music, beer tents, and carnival games make it a fun experience for everyone. Montana's laws are just as unique as its traditions. Take this gem. It's illegal to pretend you're married just to get a hotel room. Apparently, honesty is the best policy, even when booking a romantic getaway. Or, how about this? It's against the law to drive a herd of sheep down a public street unless you're herding at least 3. Why 3? No one seems to know, but Montana takes sheep management very seriously. Here's a weird one. In Helena, it's illegal to throw anything across the street, so if you're thinking of tossing a frisbee or snowball to your buddy, think again, or risk a fine. And in Billings, it's technically illegal to keep rats as pets. The law was originally intended to control vermin, but it also means no pet rats for science teachers, or anyone else for that matter. Montana's small towns love a good celebration, and their festivals are as unique as the state itself. For example, there's the What the Hay Festival in Hobson, where locals compete to create the most outrageous hay bale sculptures. From hay dinosaurs to hay spaceships, creativity knows no bounds. Then there's the Miles City Bucking Horse Sale, a wild weekend of rodeos, street dances, and cowboy camaraderie. It's like a county fair on steroids, celebrating Montana's deep connection to ranching and rodeo culture. In Whitefish, residents host the Winter Carnival every year, complete with a ski joring competition where skiers are pulled by horses at full speed. It's part sport, part chaos, and 100% Montana. Montanans also love a good challenge. Many small-town diners host eating contests like the Big Sky Burger Challenge, where you'll tackle a burger bigger than your head. And let's not forget fishing tournaments, where bragging rights go to whoever reels in the biggest trout. For those with a competitive streak, there are axe-throwing competitions, arm wrestling tournaments, and even prairie dog shooting contests. It's all part of the Montana experience. These quirks and traditions make Montana a place like no other. They're fun, memorable, and show off the state's sense of humor and creativity. But if you're not into bull testicles, hay bale art, or quirky laws, you might find Montana's charm a little overwhelming. In Montana, life doesn't have to be serious to be meaningful. Whether you're throwing a hay bale, eating Rocky Mountain oysters, or just laughing at the state's quirks, there's always something to remind you that life under the big sky is as unique as the land itself. Montana is a state where tradition runs deep, but the winds of change are blowing through its wide open spaces. Over the past decade, the culture of Montana has undergone a transformation, and in 2025, the blending of old and new is more apparent than ever. The Montana of the past was built on ranching, rodeos, and a strong sense of independence. Small-town life meant knowing your neighbors, helping them when they needed it, and cherishing simple pleasures like Friday night high school football games or homemade cherry pie from the local diner. Tradition is still alive and well here. You'll find cowboy boots and hats at every corner, ranches passed down for generations, and community potlucks where everyone pitches in, because that's just how things are done. But Montana isn't frozen in time. The influx of newcomers, remote workers, retirees, and adventure seekers has brought modern influences to the state. In towns like Bozeman and Missoula, you're just as likely to see kombucha on tap as you are to find beef jerky at the local store. Boutique coffee shops, organic farmers markets, and yoga studios are becoming as common as saddle shops and hunting supply stores. And while the state's small-town charm still exists, it's evolving to accommodate a more diverse population. This cultural evolution hasn't come without its growing pains. Long-time residents sometimes feel like their way of life is being overshadowed by modern trends. Meanwhile, newcomers can struggle to adapt to Montana's deeply rooted traditions. One of the biggest points of tension? The rising cost of living. Locals often blame new arrivals for driving up housing prices and changing the character of their beloved small towns. Signs reading, "Keep Montana, Montana" have become a common sight, reflecting a deep desire to preserve the state's identity. Despite the culture clash, Montana's quirks remain intact. For example, it's still illegal to have more than 2 kangaroos on your property in some towns. Yes, Montana's got rules, even if you're a cowboy with a soft spot for exotic pets. Yet for all the challenges, the blending of cultures has also brought new opportunities. Towns are hosting more festivals that celebrate both Montana's heritage and its future. Art galleries and live music venues are popping up alongside historical landmarks, creating a unique mix of old and new. In Missoula, for instance, you can spend your morning exploring local Native American history, your afternoon hiking, and your evening enjoying live jazz and a craft cocktail. It's this dynamic range of experiences that's making Montana a cultural destination. The cultural evolution has made Montana more vibrant and inclusive, offering something for everyone, from traditionalists to trendsetters. But the pace of change can feel overwhelming for long-time residents, and many worry that Montana is losing the quiet, small-town charm that made it special in the first place. At its core, Montana's culture is about resilience and community. Whether you're a fifth-generation rancher or a recent transplant looking for a slower pace of life, what unites Montanans is a shared love for this wild, beautiful state. Montana isn't just changing, it's growing. And while the state may look different than it did 20 years ago, one thing remains true. The Big Sky Country has room for everyone who respects its land, its people, and its way of life. Montana's wild beauty is more than just a backdrop. It's the beating heart of the state. This isn't a place where nature plays second fiddle to convenience or comfort. No, in Montana, nature is the star of the show and you're just along for the ride. In Montana, the wilderness isn't a weekend escape. It's a way of life. This is where the Missouri River carved its path long before humans ever walked its banks. Where the stars shine so brightly in the night sky that they feel close enough to touch, and where every turn on a hiking trail offers another postcard-perfect view. But don't let the beauty fool you. The wild here isn't just breathtaking, it's brutal. Montana demands respect and it doesn't negotiate. From unpredictable weather to dangerous terrain, surviving here requires grit, determination, and more layers than you thought you'd ever need. Think you're ready for a camping trip? Montana's wilderness will test you. Forget your food outside overnight? That's an open invitation to bears. Take the wrong turn on a trail? You might find yourself miles from help with only the stars as your guide. For those brave enough to embrace it, Montana offers the adventure of a lifetime. Glacier National Park alone is home to over 700 miles of trails, where hikers can explore pristine alpine lakes and ancient glaciers. The Missouri River's calm stretches are perfect for fishing, while its roaring rapids challenge the boldest of kayakers. Feeling even more daring? Try mountain climbing in the Beartooth Range, where the peaks scrape the sky and the thin air reminds you just how small you are. Living close to nature has its rewards and its challenges. On the one hand, the wilds of Montana offer a freedom and peace that's hard to find anywhere else. Out here, you're not just living off the land, you're living with it. Every day is an opportunity to connect with the raw, untamed spirit of the land, the silence of a snowy morning, the rush of a river carving through a canyon, and the satisfaction of chopping your own firewood. These are moments you can't buy. But the wild demands hard work. Heating your home might mean splitting logs. Protecting your garden means fencing it against deer. And surviving winter might mean learning how to drive through whiteouts and black ice. There's something spiritual about Montana that's hard to put into words. Maybe it's the vastness of the sky or the way the mountains seem to guard secrets older than time. For some, Montana isn't just a place to live. It's a place to find yourself. Many who come here say they feel a connection to something greater, whether it's the history etched into the land, the wild spirit of the animals, or the sheer awe of a place untouched by the chaos of modern life. The call of the wild in Montana is both a whisper and a roar. It's an invitation to leave behind the noise of the world and embrace something primal, something timeless. But it's not for the faint of heart, because in Montana, nature doesn't just surround you, it defines you. Montana in 2025 is a land of contradictions. Beautiful yet brutal, serene yet wild. It's not for everyone, but for those who embrace it, it's unforgettable. Would I live in Montana? Sure, if you give me snowshoes, a bear-proof cabin, and a lifetime supply of coffee. Otherwise, I'm visiting in July like a normal person. Could you handle Montana life, or is this just a state you'd rather admire from a distance? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more adventures. Until next time, keep exploring.